Alola everybody, it's Techno here, and today's video is a showcase for the Southern Island event that took place in Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire versions. This event is special because it's the only Gen 3 event that can still be legitimately experienced today, even 20 years after the distribution happened. All you need is a digital item in the game called the Eon Ticket. Outside of the US, this digital item was only accessible at in-person events, similar to most events in the Gens 3 and 4 era. Inside the US, however, there were two physical, actual Eon tickets that were given out. One at the E3 presentation for Nintendo at 2003's conference, and the other in issue 173 of Nintendo Power magazine. The E3 2003 version is the one that I have, and it comes with this pamphlet with instructions on how to redeem, visit the island, and the like. If you happen to have one of these cards, you can access the event only on North American cartridges, assuming you have 2 GBAs, an e-reader, and a GBA link cable, as well as a copy of Ruby or Sapphire. There are some prerequisites in the game that need to be met before pulling this off. In Ruby or Sapphire, to get the Eon Ticket, you need at least 5 badges, which means you need to have beaten Norman in Petalburg City. But to actually use the Eon Ticket, you need to have beaten the Pokemon League and become Hoenn's champion. So it's best to just set that as your goal. You're also going to need to activate a feature called Mystery Event, which I'm guessing you probably don't have active because it's pretty obscure to unlock. Check your start menu, and if you don't have it listed here on this screen, then proceed to Petalburg City. Inside the Pokemon Center, speak with the man by the PC and tell him the phrase, "Mystery Event is exciting." You can do this in any language to activate Mystery Event by typing the appropriate message from this chart, but remember, the physical Eon Ticket card only works on the North American games. He should react happily and enable the option on your startup menu. With those prereqs met, it's time to actually redeem the ticket in your game now. You'll need at least 2 GBAs. That includes a standard Game Boy Advance or a GameCube with the GBA player and disc. Unfortunately, the Game Boy Advance SP, Nintendo DS, and DS Lite do not work here. First, place your cartridge into the GBA. In your other GBA, place the e-reader. You can connect the e-reader to the Game Boy player for the GameCube like so if you're using this method. Now we're going to connect the 2 GBAs by using a GBA link cable. Some link cables have only 2 ends, and some have 4. Both models, however, have a Player 1 and Player 2 end on these cables. You'll need to identify which one is which. Most have a number etched into the port itself. I've colored my cables red for Player 1 and green for Player 2. The Player 1 end needs to go into the GBA with your game. It won't work if you have the cables reversed, so make sure you do this. The Player 2 end needs to go into the e-reader directly, like so. Now, power on your copy of Ruby or Sapphire and navigate to the Mystery Event menu. You should see a screen that looks something like this. Power on the GBA with your e-reader equipped and navigate to the Scan Card screen. Grab your Eon Ticket and carefully scan the barcode through the e-reader. This is not like a modern credit card. You want to go at a very nice, slow pace and make sure the entire barcode is read. I like to press my finger on the opposite side and make a slow and steady swipe. If done correctly, you'll see an image of a blue Eon Ticket. You can press A here and the game should receive the Eon Ticket safely. Then you can just power down the e-reader GBA and disconnect all the cables. On your copy of Ruby or Sapphire, boot up like normal and speak to Norman in Petalburg City. He'll have a small piece of unique dialogue with some pretty strange grammar here as he gives you the Eon Ticket. From here, if you're champion of Hoenn, visit Lilycove City and enter the harbor located on the south side of town. Speak with the hostess and she'll comment on your pass and bring out the captain. He's pretty thrilled and you'll immediately set off to Southern Island. The island itself is small, and following the main path towards the center, you'll find a sign with a vague message here. Proceed to the center of the island and you'll find a stone. Do not interact with this stone without saving. This Latios or Latias is a one-time encounter. and if you run away or KO it, it will be gone forever. In fact, the pamphlet I mentioned before even calls this out. Press A on the stone, and Latios will swoop down if you're playing Sapphire, and Latias if you're playing Ruby. You can actually soft reset this Latios or Latias to find the preferred nature, IVs, and you can encounter it shiny for those of you crazy enough to try. If you catch this Latios or Latias, you'll notice it's holding the Soul Dew, a very powerful item that works for these two Pokemon only. Side note, this item for some reason does not work in any of the battle facilities, like the Battle Tower or the Battle Frontier. I think Game Freak actually knew how overpowered this thing was. Get your last sights seen, because once you leave Southern Island, you will never be able to return, no matter the outcome of the battle. Getting the Eon Ticket in Pokemon Emerald. Now, because Emerald version doesn't have the mystery event option, you can't get an Eon Ticket through the e-reader like we just did. However, if you have a Ruby or Sapphire that did receive the Eon Ticket through the e-reader like we just did, then you can send it over to Emerald by mixing records. This will only work if the copy of Ruby or Sapphire received their Eon Ticket through the mystery event option like we just did, not through mixing records. Connect two GBAs together by link cable like before, the one gifting the Eon Ticket with the player 1 end, and the Emerald with the player 2 end. Upstairs in the Pokemon Center, visit the desk at the far right. In Emerald, you'll need to choose the option Record Corner from the list. Once both games save, you'll enter a room with a bunch of PCs. Have both players stand at any of the PCs, and the record mixing process will begin. If done properly, you'll get a message that the Eon Ticket was transferred during the mix. There's a limit on how many times you can do this, 30 in fact, as confirmed kindly by the very cooperative Reddit user UHGBeard, who tested this out very thoroughly for me. From there, the process is pretty much the same. Once Champion of Hoenn, visit Lilyco's Harbor and take a trip to Southern Island. This Pokemon will be whichever one you didn't choose once you beat the game. If you chose Blue on the TV, then this will be Latias, and vice versa. The one thing Emerald did change, however, is that you can return to Southern Island, even after the battle, which is a cool touch, I'd say. The physical Eon Ticket card has no limit on usage. In fact, I can use it once per save file, infinitely. That pretty much means, even 50 years from now, as long as I have this card, I can experience the Southern Island event. Well everyone, that's the breakdown on the Eon Ticket and its distribution. Here's a kind reminder that if you enjoy videos like this one, I have a second channel that's dedicated to this type of content, just so it doesn't get lost in the sea of free fluff guides that I normally have, so thought I'd throw that out there. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always guys, Techno's out.